Hey everyone, in this video, I'll be showing you how to create a search modal inside Ionic. For an example, it will look something like this. You have a search bar on top and you have a list of items that you want to search over. You type something over here and it will correspondingly filter out the list. If you click on the list, it will appear in the parent component. Let's look at the code and understand how to build something like this. We'll start off inside message component where the click handler for that three dot button is present. We'll comment out the code first, then we'll go inside the constructor and create the modal controller, import it, then we'll go back inside this method and we'll use modal controller to create that specific component instance. Once the component instance is created, we'll add a present button over here. What this present button will do, it will show you when you click on the button, it will open up the modal. Right now, the modal is empty. So I have already created a component which is loaded up over here. Let me show you. If I click on these three buttons now, you'll see that the modal opens up. Now let's style out our search component. To do this, let's first open up the HTML and we'll populate it with the default Ionic template for any page. Instead of the header, what we'll do is we'll put a Ion search bar. Let's see how that looks. This gives a default layout that we'll be using for our search. Let's add a marker to this specific search bar. Once the marker is added, we want to go to search and we'll do a view child reference to the search bar. We'll create a ng after view in it, and inside this, we'll get the input element reference using search bar.get input element. After this, we'll pass it inside from event and mark it to the key up event. Now, once this is connected to the key up event, let's see how that looks. We'll go inside and we'll type something. You'll see the keyboard events are now coming up over here, including arrow right, arrow left, everything. Now, we'll take the specific input from each of the input element events and we'll get only the value. To do this, we'll take the source element and we'll take its value. Now let's see how this looks. Now you can type something over here and the corresponding characters would come up. But this has a problem. If you click on the arrow keys, you will see more events getting loaded up with the same value. We want to avoid this. To do this, we'll add a distinct until change operator. What distinct until change operator does is it filters out the same event from occurring again and again. Now that we have added the distinct until change operator, let's see how this looks. The events came up. Now, even if I press the arrow keys or any other button for that matter, it won't come up over here. Now, let's create a method which would allow us to filter a set of names based on whatever the text input that we add. I've added a set of names over here and we'll add a filter method. If whenever the text is included by the name, it will filter it. Now, to do this, we'll add a map operator over here, and based on the text that is provided from the previous step, it will just pass it to this method. The content will get filtered and it will pass into this observable. Let's see how this looks. As you see, this particular thing is getting filtered based on our contents. Let's render it into the screen. So we'll create a variable and assign it to an empty array. Upon subscription of these event pipeline, we'll take the results and pass it into this results variable. Inside the HTML, we'll create an Ion list. Inside Ion item, we'll do ng for and we'll interpolate the results item by item. Let's see how this looks. As you see, the default entry is empty, but if I type something, the results are filtered. Now, why is this happening? This is because this pipeline starts from event. So only upon an event happening does the filtration process take place. To fix this, we can add a starts with. Remember, the positioning of the starts with is important because if you add it before this, it will try to look for source element value inside whatever was passed inside starts with, and it wouldn't work properly. Let's see how this works now. If I click on the three dots, you'll see the default results are coming up. If I type something, if search results are not there, it won't come. But if I clear off the values, this works as normal. Let's complete this particular implementation by adding a on item click method, and we'll import modal controller over here. We'll import it, and finally over here, we'll do modal controller dismiss, and whatever cat name is passed in, we'll pass it over here. Similarly, inside the HTML, we'll add a click event and attach that on the item click method. We'll have to go back to message component TS, and we'll have to attach a on will dismiss hook over here. This will make sure that whatever data that we dismiss the modal with comes back into the parent. Let's try this out. And 3 dots, we'll click on one of the options. As you see, this came inside message component TS. If market is present over here, if we search for MAR, the option doesn't come up. Why is this happening? This is happening because over here, we forgot to take case into consideration. To fix this, we'll lowercase both of the contents. Now that this is done, you'll see this will start working properly. We'll do MAR, and it got filtered properly. This is how you can potentially create a search component inside Ionic. The one question that you may have is, yes, this works with a static list. How do we make it work with a dynamic list which gets loaded from the API? To do this, the only thing that we have to do is replace this off with a switch map, and we import it. Once the data is imported from switch map, we'll just have to add a method which returns an observable over here. So you can have an API call which takes in a parameter for search, and will work properly. This is how you can create a complete search model inside Ionic. Thank you.